He looked in the mirror, but the reflection wasn't him. It smiled first. It whispered, "I am you." It started as a joke, a simple, harmless bit of fun. You know how it is. AI filters, those uncanny identity swaps, the latest viral TikTok trend that has everyone laughing. A new filter that promised to show you your true self. So, he tried it. He pointed his phone at the mirror, framed his face, and waited. At first, it was just like all the others. His eyes were a little brighter, his jawline a little sharper. He chuckled, thinking it was just another vanity filter. Everyone laughed. His friends laughed. His family laughed. They all said it was a good one, that it made him look better, more confident. He posted the video, got his likes, and thought nothing more of it. Until the reflection laughed back, not on the screen, but in the actual mirror. A quiet, knowing chuckle that hung in the air long after he'd put his phone away. He told himself he was tired, that his mind was playing tricks on him. It was just a weird echo, a figment of his imagination. He splashed cold water on his face and tried to forget. But some things, once seen, can never be unseen. And some things, once heard, echo forever. The joke wasn't funny anymore. The line between the screen and the glass, between the pixel and the person, was starting to blur. And something was smiling from the other side. The glitches started subtly, a flicker at the edge of his vision. A momentary lag when he raised his hand. He'd blink and everything would be normal again. Just tired eyes, he'd tell himself. Too much screen time. But then it became undeniable. He'd be brushing his teeth, and his reflection would stop moving a half-second before he did. He'd turn his head, and the face in the mirror would hold his gaze just a moment too long. It was like watching a video with a bad connection, except the video was his own life, playing out on a silver screen he couldn't turn off. One night, as he stood before the bathroom mirror, it happened. He stood perfectly still, holding his breath, and the reflection. It tilted its head, slowly, independently. A silent, impossible gesture that broke every law of physics he knew. His heart hammered against his ribs. Then, a whisper. It wasn't his voice, but it came from his reflection's mouth. It was a soft, sibilant sound, like leaves skittering across pavement. "Do you like secrets?" The voice wasn't in the room. It was in his head, a cold intrusion that felt both alien and intimately familiar. He stumbled back, his hand flying to his mouth. In the mirror, the other him didn't flinch. Instead, it smiled. And every smile was too sharp, too wide, pulling the corners of his own mouth into a terrifying grin. The eyes weren't his anymore. They were dark, ancient, and filled with a chilling amusement. He was no longer looking at a reflection. He was looking at a spectator. And the show was just beginning. The whispers grew more frequent, weaving through his thoughts, finishing his sentences. "We know what you did," it would murmur as he got ready for work. "They'll find out," it would hiss as he talked to his friends. Every moment became a torment. The mirror, a portal to a personal hell he couldn't escape. He tried to turn away. He covered the mirrors in his apartment with sheets, with towels, with anything he could find. He avoided shop windows, polished surfaces, even the dark screen of his phone. But it was no use. The reflection followed. He'd catch a glimpse of it in the chrome toaster, a distorted, grinning face. He'd see it in a puddle on the street, looking up at him with those knowing eyes. It was everywhere. The whispers became conversations, one-sided interrogations that he couldn't stop. It spoke his thoughts before he even had them. He'd be thinking about calling in sick to work, and the voice would echo in his mind, "Just tell them you have a fever." They always believe that one. He'd feel a pang of jealousy seeing a friend's success, and the whisper would slice through him. "You wish that were you, don't you? You wish they would fail." It was terrifying. It knew things he had never said aloud, secrets buried so deep he'd almost convinced himself they weren't real. The lie he told his boss last year, the money he never paid back, the cruel thought he had about his best friend. It laid his entire soul bare, reciting his deepest shames with a cold, clinical precision. He was a prisoner in his own mind, haunted by a version of himself that knew every dark corner. The mirror wasn't showing him his face anymore. It was showing him who he really was. It was peeling back the layers of civility, the social masks, the carefully constructed personality he presented to the world. And underneath it all was something ugly, something he refused to acknowledge. The reflection wasn't a monster that had appeared from nowhere. It was a monster that had been there all along. He was the one who had kept it hidden, and now it was tired of living in the dark. He stared into the dark, reflective surface of his television screen, the sheets torn from the mirrors around him. He was exhausted, broken. The voice had been silent for hours, and the quiet was somehow worse. He had to end this. He had to prove it was all in his head. He walked back to the bathroom, pulled the towel from the mirror, and faced it. The reflection stood there, calm, composed. Its expression was one of pity. "You still don't get it, do you?" The voice whispered, but this time it wasn't just in his head. The sound came from his own throat. The words formed on his own lips. His body, his voice, were no longer his. He tried to run, but his feet were rooted to the spot. It was then that he realized. He realized too late. The reflection wasn't the lie. He was, All the smiles he faked, the pleasantries he offered while thinking cruel thoughts, the entire persona he built to be liked, to fit in. That was the illusion. The thing in the mirror, with all its darkness and ugly truths, was the genuine article. The reflection smiled, a sad, final smile. It wasn't sharp or menacing anymore. It was real. And as his own hand raised, not by his will, to trace the cool surface of the glass, the mirror whispered one last time, a truth that sealed his fate. I am the truth. Subscribe now, because some mirrors never stop watching, and some reflections never let you look away.